NASCAR Cup Series race officially concluded from Kansas Speedway, and Kyle Larson puts up a dominant clinic and picks up his third win of 2025. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race from Kansas Speedway, the Avon 400. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So, a lot of drivers for the green flag would have to go to the rear, including Brad Keselowski, Ty Dillon, Chase Briscoe, Josh Berry, Ty Gibbs, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Zane Smith would all have to go to the rear of the field for unapproved adjustments. And at the start of the race, you had Kyle Larson lead the field from the inside with Chris Buescher on the outside, and Kyle Larson got a fantastic start and was able to clear for the race lead, and he started pulling away. The first caution race come out lap number 7 when AJ Allmendinger blew an engine coming down the front straightaway. He would complain on the radio about ECR, was mad about the ECR engines. The engine just let go. The second week in a row we've seen an engine failure in this race. This would unfortunately affect AJ, who's in a playoff battle currently at this moment. So during the caution, Alex Bowman, Justin Haley, Austin Dillon, Riley Herbst, Cole Custer, Shane Van Gisbergen, Kyle Busch, Zane Smith, Denny Hamlin, Noah Gragson would all come down pit road while the rest leaders would stay out. And then on the restart, Kyle Larson lead the field from the inside with Christopher Bell on the outside, and they remained side by side for at least the next couple of laps, but eventually Kyle Larson got a great run on Christopher Bell after a couple laps, and he was able to take the race lead, and he started pulling away to a pretty massive lead, and got a near 2-second lead by the 30th lap. And then we started seeing green flag pit stops on lap 35. First, Michael McDowell, Eric Jones, Ross Chastain would come down pit road. Then the next lap, Bubba Wallace, Josh Berry, Austin Dillon would come down pit road. Unfortunately for Bubba Wallace, he would get a penalty for equipment interference on pit road, would have to come down and do a pass-through. And then the next lap, Chase Elliott, Austin Cindric, Chris Buescher, Joey Logano, Carson Osbar, Justin Haley, Tyler Reddick, they would all come down pit road. And then as the run went on, William Byron comes down pit road, then Ryan Blaney, Ty Gibbs came down next, and then on lap 41, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Ryan Preece, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., they would all come down pit road, and once the cycle had officially gone through, Kyle Larson would go ahead and be the race leader of the event, and he just started pulling away out to a near 3-second lead. Meanwhile, about 10 or 15 laps to go in stage number 1, William Byron's tire would unfortunately go flat as he had a flat right rear tire going in turn number 4. He would come down pit road and have to serve to get that tire fixed. Tough break for William Byron. In my opinion, he had a really fast and strong car early in the event. This would take William Byron out of contention. Meanwhile, one car that was starting to charge his way up to the front was Chase Elliott. His car on the long run was really, really good. But he'd be too far back to catch Kyle Larson, and coming off the final corner, Kyle Larson would dominate and win stage number 1, followed by Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, and Austin Cindric. And then all the lap cars would then come down pit road with Kyle Larson winning the race off pit road. Chris Buescher was up front, had a terrible pit stop and drop from 10th to 17th, and Carson Osbar got a penalty for equipment interference. And meanwhile, Denny Hamlin would come on the radio saying he was having potential clutch issues on the car, and this would be a big factor near the end of the event. And then on the restart, you had Kyle Larson lead the field from the inside with Chase Elliott on the outside, and they remained side by side for quite a bit, but eventually Kyle Larson got a great run and was able to clear for the race lead, and he once again started pulling away. By the time we got to lap 110 of this event, Kyle Larson had a near 5-second lead over Chase Elliott on lap 113 of the event, but Chase Elliott would start running Kyle Larson down. Once again, we started seeing green flag pit stops. Austin Cindric would come down pit road first, and then he also got a penalty for uncontrolled tire. Then Noah Gragson came in. Then lap 123, Zane Smith, Ross Chastain came down pit road. Then Austin Dillon came down pit road. Then the next lap, Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick came down. And then Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, Kyle Busch, all those guys that come down pit road. And then on the next lap, Kyle Larson would come down pit road. Denny Hamlin, Josh Berry, Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, all those guys, they would all come down pit road. Once the cycle had once again come through, Kyle Larson once again had the race lead. But Chase Elliott would actually be a lot closer to Kyle Larson. But Larson would pull away a little bit. But as Larson was getting into traffic, Chase Elliott was coming. His car was coming on a very, very long run and was running Kyle Larson down. And coming to the white flag at stage number 2, Kyle Larson had a hard-charging Chase Elliott coming up right behind him, and he had a great run on him coming off of turn number 4, but run out of time by 0.2, and coming off the corner, Kyle Larson holds off a hard-charging Chase Elliott and wins stage number 2. Another big fact, Kyle Larson has now led 10,000 laps in the NASCAR Cup Series, with him leading the laps here at the end of stage number 2. He becomes only the third active driver and the 22nd driver in NASCAR Cup Series history to reach that number. So congratulations to Larson on not only winning stage 2, but also reaching 10,000 laps led. That is an incredible and amazing accomplishment. And then all lead lap cars have then come down pit road, with Chase Elliott actually beating Kyle Larson off pit road by just a little bit, followed by Larson and Ryan Blaney. Meanwhile, Josh Berry, who'd been very fast on a long run, would get a penalty for being too fast on pit road. And then on the restart, you had Chase Elliott lead the field from the inside with Kyle Larson on the outside, and Chase Elliott got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski was coming. This 6 car was charging his way up to the front, and it looked like Brad was going to be a major factor to catch him at the end of this race. And was running Chase Elliott down about a couple tenths every lap. But all of a sudden, with 72 laps to go, everything would change for Brad Keselowski. He unfortunately would have a flat right rear tire going into turn number 1, pushing the car too hard, and would hit the outside wall really hard, taking himself out of contention for the win, and would fall out of the race. I feel horrible for Brad Keselowski. He had a car capable of winning this race, was having the best run he had had all year, had gotten stage points, was putting together a strong performance, and now nothing to show for it for Brad. I feel horrible for Keselowski fans. This has been a season from hell for Brad. Just a tough day overall for Brad, and will finish out of the race. I feel horrible for Keselowski fans because, again, he's just been so bad-ridden this year with terrible luck, and today, after having a car capable of winning, nothing to show for it. And then all lead lap cars have then come down pit road, and a lot of the contenders would run into trouble. Chase Elliott, who came into pit road first, would have a terrible pit stop and would have a 14-second stop that would pretty much take him out of contention for the win of this event. And Denny Hamlin had a clutch issue, and unfortunately for Denny Hamlin, he would go to the garage, falling out of the race. That clutch issue that came up earlier in the event would completely take him out of contention. Tough right there for Hamlin, who was having a really strong run. But because of this, Christopher Bell actually jumped from 4th and would win the race off pit road, followed by Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney. And then on the restart, you had Christopher Bell lead the field from the inside with Kyle Larson on the outside, and Joey Logano was sent it 3 wide going in turn number 1 to try to get the lead. But as they were going down the back straightaway, trouble would strike. Ty Dillon would get loose coming off of turn number 2. He would go up the track, get some contact between Cody Ware and Daniel Suarez. Also got collected in an incident crash, taking all 3 of those guys out of contention. It looked like Logano was going to be the leader after that, but actually Larson was the leader because of the timing lines. Kyle Larson would be declared the leader of the race. I feel for Logano in that situation, but Larson in that case was the leader, unfortunately. And then we go back racing once again, with Kyle Larson leading the field from the inside with Joe Logano on the outside, and Kyle Larson got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead, with Christopher Bell moving up to 2nd. And going down the back straightaway, Kyle Busch would unfortunately run into trouble. Kyle Busch would be 4 wide between guys like Josh Berry, Noah Gragson, and Ross Chastain. He'd be on the inside. There'd be contact with Chastain going down on Berry, who hit Gragson, and Kyle Busch got collected in the chain reaction, the innocent bystander in that situation. He would spin into the grass and would get his tires stuck, take him out of contention after having a solid day. Kyle Busch was very pissed off on the radio. You could definitely tell. I understand Kyle Busch's frustration because he was having a really solid day, probably going to get a top 10 finish, but nothing to show for it. His day would come to an end. He's still running the race, but his chance to win would be over. And then on the next restart, you had Kyle Larson lead the field from the inside with Joe Logano on the outside, and Joe Logano got a pretty good run and make it 3 wide to try to get the race lead, but Kyle Larson got a great run and was able to take the lead back. And then the final caution in the race to come out when there was contact between Justin Haley and Corey Heim. Corey Heim was making his first Cup start of the season, tried to make a move on Justin Haley, a little bit too aggressive from Corey Heim there. This would clip Haley, who would hit Eric Jones, and Bubba Wallace got clipped in the crash, same with Austin Dillon. This would take Bubba Wallace out of contention, who's in a playoff battle currently at the moment, and take Eric Jones and a couple of those other guys out of contention. I feel horrible for those guys. They're putting together a fantastic and really strong run for Bubba, who is recovering. Just a terrible situation all around. Bubba was not happy on the radio. I think Heim was just being a little bit too aggressive in that situation, but sometimes that is going to happen. And going into the final restart of the race, you had Kyle Larson lead the field from the inside with Christopher Bell on the outside. And Kyle Larson got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead, with Christopher Bell moving up to 2nd. The big thing to watch is how are we going to manage the tires coming to the end of this race, because Kyle Larson had been really bad on the long run, and Christopher Bell had also been bad on the long run, but it seems like these two were starting to manage their tires, and Larson would go ahead and start pulling away and got to start pulling away for the race lead. And by the time we got to about lap 241, with 27 laps to go, Kyle Larson had extended his lead over 2 seconds over the rest of the field. And Ryan Blaney was also going up, and he was charging up to the front as well. Same with guys like Josh Berry, who were coming up to the front as well. As it came to the final laps of this race, Carson Osbar would suffer a flat tire getting the outside wall and would come down pit road. We thought a caution was coming out. A caution would not come out. It would be a really close finish at the end. As it came to the white flag of the race, Kyle Larson had about a 1.4 or 1.5 second lead over Christopher Bell, and Ryan Blaney was charging up there as well. But all of a sudden, Kyle Larson's car really started falling off a cliff. It looked like he might have been managing his tires coming to the checkered flag. They would run out of time, and coming out the final corner, Kyle Larson had a much larger margin than he had at Kansas last year in the spring, winning by 0.7 of a second and picking up his third win of 2025 in his 32nd career NASCAR Cup Series victory. Massive day for Kyle Larson. He completely dominated this race, led 221 of the 267 laps. His car was really good on the short run and the medium run as well, but he never really had fully the long run pace. But because it was so hard to pass in this event and Larson had such a big lead, no one could really catch him, and he had a car that was just really fast and really strong in this event. This is the most dominant run we've seen at Kansas ever, the most laps anyone's ever led in a race at Kansas. This is a dominant run for Larson. Congratulations, a well-deserved win for Larson. His most dominant run outside of the Bristol race, so a big win for Larson. Congratulations to him on picking up his third win at Kansas. A big deal as he goes now into the month of May and tries to go for the Indy 500, try to win that this month. Starts a month off just like he did last year, where he won the Kansas race by a close finish. Congrats to Larson on picking up the win. A well-deserved win in the fastest car for a majority of this race. So now we're going ahead and take a look at the race results and give my score and thoughts on today's race. So Kyle Larson picks up the win. Christopher Bell finishes second. His car was really good on the short run, but it seemed like until the end, the long run speed wasn't there. But they made that car a lot better, especially for the long run, and comes home with a really strong top 5. Bell has been clicking off really, really good finishes. Has never won at this track, but he finally gets a great run in second. Fantastic run for Christopher Bell. Ryan Blaney finishes third. I'm telling you, that 12 car was coming on the long run. If he had a couple more laps, I think he beats Larson. His car was super, super good on the long run today. He just was too far back and was battling Bowman too long. That cost him the shot at winning the race, in my opinion. But still a really great day for Ryan Blaney. He continues to turn around this season. He's had the speed this year. Comes home with a really strong top 5. Great run for Ryan Blaney. Chase Briscoe finishes fourth. Talk about Briscoe. He was a lap down at one point in this race. They got that car better, and they recovered to get a solid top 5. I feel like this 19 team is showing more speed as the season progresses and goes on. Gets the second best finisher, Joe Gibbs Racing. Great run for Briscoe. He finished fourth. Alex Bowman finished fifth. He got put on the wall by Zane Smith in the middle portion of this race. Had damage. I don't think the car was really ever the same, but he still ran really well near the end. Had good pit stops as well, and comes home with a very solid top 5 and fifth. Great run for Alex Bowman. Josh Berry finished sixth. He had a top 5 car most of the race. He had multiple penalties that cost him a shot at a win of this race. But that 21 car we know has been really strong on the intermediates. The first race I think they've put together with a strong finish. Great run for Josh Berry. He finished 6th. A great run for the 12 team. Ryan Preece finished 7th. Gets a well-deserved top 10. He ran top 5 and top 10 most of the day. He's been the fastest RFK car, seems like, recently. So fantastic run for Preece. Get a top 10 and 7th. Great run to get himself a top 10. He's been solid with that 60 team. Recovers and gets back into the playoff conversation with a great run today. Good job for Ryan Preece. Chris Buescher finished 8th. He was fast early, but that car fell off on the long run. But Buescher comes home in the top 10. Not close enough to get redemption like last year, but Chris Buescher with a really great day inside the top 10. Solid day for the number 17 machine. Joe Logano finished 11th, backs up a win last week at Texas with a very solid top 10 run. He didn't have race winning speed like his teammate Ryan Blaney, but he had top 10 pace. This is what we need to see from Logano. He's had more speed this year generally than he did last year. He was up front contending, but he fell back a little bit, but still a really solid day for Logano. He finishes 9th. And how about John Nemechek finishing 10th? Quietly getting himself a top 10. He did come down pit road near the end to try to top off and get a little bit more of an advantage. He comes home with a really strong top 10 and 10th. Good run for John Hunter Nemechek. Austin Cindric finished 11th. Quiet, solid day for him. Todd Gillen finishes 12th. Pretty good day for him. Corey Heim finishes 13th. I know he had the incident with Tyler, with a couple of those guys near the end of the event, but generally outside of that, this was a very impressive run from Corey Heim. To finish in the top 15, and a third or fourth 2311 racing car, outperformed Riley Herbst most of the day, kind of outperformed Bubba a little bit too. That's pretty impressive. The highest finishing 2311 racing car in this race. That's really impressive. A fantastic run for Corey Heim to finish inside the top 15. He's a Cup. In my opinion, he's definitely Cup ready at this point. A really good day for Corey Heim for Sanders. He finishes 13th. Noah Gragson finished 14th. Solid day for him. 15th place finisher Chase Elliott. What could have been for Chase Elliott? I think Chase Elliott had a race-winning car today. He had probably the second best car outside of Larson and probably the fastest car on the long run today. But unfortunately, the pit crew cost him a shot. And once he got back in the dirty area and the traffic, you just really could never go anywhere, it seemed like at times today. But Chase Elliott, they've had the speed today. They've proven it. They just got to find a way to get better on pit road. He finished 15th. Tough break for him. Zane Smith finished 16th. He had a top 10 car most of the day. I think he got some damage in some of the incidents that cost him a shot at a great run, but still a solid top 20 run for Zane. One of his better runs of the year, so good day for Zane in 16th. Tyler Reddick finished 17th, a non-factor all day in all honesty. Reddick just never had the speed to contend. He was about a top 5 car at best. Nothing to show for it though. He finished 17th, a disappointing finish for Tyler Reddick. Ross Chastain finished 18th. No show all day today. Compared to last week at Texas, never factor. He was probably about a 10th to 15th place car at best. The Trackhouse cars are struggling a little bit with their speed currently at the moment. So decent day for Ross, but not a great day. He finished 18th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishes 19th. Shane Van Gisbergen finished 20th. That's a small victory for SVG. I know 20th is not a really good finish for SVG, but you got to start clicking off good finishes and will help you, especially in the standings. He kept his nose clean most of the day, had an incident with Todd Gillen early, but honestly, not a bad day for Shane. Gets a top 20 and 20th. Solid day for SVG. Kyle Busch finished 21st. I think he had a top 5, top 10 car, but unfortunately he had the incident. He was not happy on the radio course. He finished 21st because of that. Austin Dillon finished 22nd. Michael McDowell finished 23rd. William Byron finished 24th. A disastrous day for the 24 team. He has also lost the regular season points lead by now 30 points because Kyle Larson gained 40 points on him today. He finished 24th. Cole Custer finished 25th. Carson Osbar finished 26th after his tire troubles. Riley Herbst finished 27th. Ty Gibbs finished 20th. A disaster save for someone who qualified very well. He finished 28th. Jesse Love finished 29th, kept his nose clean for the most part, did have a penalty on pit road, but he does get a top 30, just got to get that experience. He finished 29th, and Cody Ware finishes 30th. Justin Neely finished 31st, Eric Jones finished 32nd, Bubba Wallace, who ran up front early, finished 33rd, Daniel Suarez finished 34th after crashing out of the event, Ty Dillon finished 35th, Denny Hamlin, after his issues with the clutch, finished 36th, Braggs also had a great run, finished 37th until the end, and A.J. Allmendinger, after his engine issues, finished last in 38th place. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole, and I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race. Now, I'm going to say this. This is probably my least favorite Kansas Next Gen race that we've seen so far. But this doesn't mean the race was bad. In fact, this is the best race we have seen since Homestead earlier this year, and it's not because of who won the race. I think generally behind Kyle Larson, there was some really, really good racing. It's just that most of the day, Kyle Larson was really, really good and had big leads. And you're going to have that from time to time. But I really do appreciate that times that Fox was covering some of the good battles behind. I will say the direction of the broadcast is a little bit better today compared to previous times, but I'm definitely ready for Fox to go on Amazon to take over. It's just that Larson had such a dominant car today, and it was really difficult to pass as well, but not impossible. But I think there was good racing. I still think this car works really well at this track, but I still think there's also some of the dirty air issues you've seen, but you had some good moments in this race. You had really good restarts. You had fantastic endings to the stages especially, and I think that this was a very interesting and compelling race. And he had a really close finish too, not to mention. It was getting close up front. I thought Bell and Blaney was going to get there at the end, but they ran out of time. But for Larson, he gets a well-deserved win. My score of today's Kansas race, because of my standards for the track, I'm going to give this race overall about a 7.5 out of 10. I think it was a pretty solid race. Not a great race by any stretch of imagination, but actually probably 8 out of 10. It was a pretty solid race, not a fantastic race, but it's still pretty good. My score is going to be 8 out of 10 from this race. The best race we've had definitely since Homestead earlier this year. So, that is going to be it for today's NASCAR Cup Series race review from Kansas Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Kyle Larson on picking up the win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm likely going to do a Shane Van Gisbergen video on the channel later tonight, talking about his performance at Kansas Speedway. Tomorrow we are going to have have the news video discussions over the course of the last couple of days. We've got some stuff on Dodge and GMS we got to talk about. We've got updates on the loss between 27 and front row with Michael Jordan involved in that as well. We've got content coming on people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain. Other people like Connor Zilch, Junior Motorsports, Clay Safari, Matt Benedetto, Frankie Muniz, Eric Almirola, Chandler Smith, all the good stuff we'll be talking about on the channel in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.